What's going on, Jerome? It's a beautiful Saturday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So, end of the month, we got December coming up. Vikings taking on the Cardinals tomorrow. And, well, so first off, tangent right away. So sometimes I put on movies on the TVs while I'm cranking out some hot fire takes, just in the background on mute. I've never seen National Lampoon's Christmas in its entirety before. It's delightful, even though he's a stupid Bears fan. Right. And also, so he's at the mall shopping for presents. I kind of miss those days. Like, do people still do that? All I know is that I order things. Sorry, the wife orders everything online for like the kids and stuff, and that's it. But whatever happened to like going to a store and like finding the perfect gift and paying for cash, by the way, like whatever happened to that? I just feel like an old man yelling at a cloud now. Anyways, but the Vikings made it officially official, signing Daniel Jones to the practice squad. And then DJ, that's my DJ, where it's funny, when Tom Brady sort of threw Daniel Jones under the bus, last Thursday, when it's like, well, I would play a scout team safety. Baloney, Tom Brady. He's just mad because the Raiders wanted Daniel Jones, and then Daniel Jones was like, no. And Brady is part owner of the Raiders now. It's all it was, man. Just sour grapes. Brady's terrible as an announcer, by the way. I'll just come out and say it. Like no one else will. He does have some interesting anecdotes, except they seem out of place. They almost seem canned. Like, how like Collinsworth is on the video game and just like interjects with random things. That's what Brady is. Yeah. Anyways, but Daniel Jones, DJ, Danny Dimes, Vanilla Vic. I didn't give two hoots about this man and his well-being. Well-being as humans, but until Wednesday morning. But now I would die for this man. I will go to bat for my QB4. That's right. So he met with the media jackals on Friday. Hat model, by the way, looking good. And ultimately, like, what's his role going to be this year? Adding another high IQ voice into the quarterback room. Feeling things out with the Vikings. Vikings getting to know him. But this season, like, once he learns the offense over a couple of weeks, I mean, does he overtake Rippon as quarterback 3, emergency QB 3? And I know that they have trust in Mullins, but knocking on all the wood, hopefully nothing happens. But what if Darnold has to miss a couple of snaps? Like, who goes in? Like, who do you trust? Like Daniel Jones, once he gets into the offense and he's surrounded by weapons, or Nick Mullins, grip it and rip it. Nick Mullins is the John Daly of backup quarterbacks, and I kind of love it, but also it's kind of, I don't know. Or, actually, hold on first. That first Vanilla Vic Wildcat snap is going to be like hit like crack. So this is what it's going to be. Like, Darnold's in the huddle. All right, here we go. And then Daniel Jones walks in and is like, oh, hey, coach says I'm supposed to run the ball now. No. This is you versus the guy she told you not to worry about, Daniel Jones. I will say this, though. Even if Darnold's a one and done here with the Vikings and he goes and signs somewhere for $1 bajillion, which he's earned, I will always be a Sam Darnold fan, man. Like, he's definitely won hearts and minds here. Like, he's played really well. He's dealt with some adversity, and he's just kept his head down, been humble, and worked. And respect that. I think fans really do respect that. Something that fans don't respect is, so all the conspiracy theories that the NFL is rigged and is predetermined, and it's definitely rigged in favor of the premier teams, like the Chiefs. Things like this don't help. So the Chiefs are up 19-17. Raiders had the ball, no timeouts, and they were marching get into field goal range to try and win. Right, Daniel Carlson, former Vikings legend, out there swinging the leg, probably good from 60 plus, even outdoors in Kansas City to potentially win, right? And they were within field goal range, trying to get a little bit closer. But rookie center Jackson Powers Johnson, JPJ, the pride of Oregon, snapped the ball early, and it clonked off O'Connell, and then the Chiefs recovered it, right? But they initially called it a false start, the whole false start on the center thing, or it could have been a whatever pre-snap penalty. Either way, 10-second runoff. The Raiders still would have had a chance, right? But since even though they whistled the play dead, and you see that side judge coming on in and calling it a false start, so it is no play. It is not a play, right? And also, since the ref whistled the play dead, I mean, it stands to reason that a bunch of the Raiders just sort of gave up, right? And Kansas City came up with the football on what should have been a dead play. But then The refs huddled up for an uncomfortable amount of time, and then they ruled it an illegal shift, which made the play live, and the Chiefs recovered the fumble, even though the play was called dead. And it's just nonsense like this where everyone saw the ref call false start and whistle the play dead, so nothing else matters. But the fact that the Chiefs just get given this, even though they struggled at home against a very terrible opponent and won by the skin of their teeth yet again, it's just ridiculous, man. Like, this does not help the conspiracy theories, man. And I will say this, like, hey, the Vikings are 9-2. They went toe-to-toe with the Lions. They lost a bad game to the Rams. The wins that they've had have been sort of close, but they've won 3 games in a row on the road, 4 games in a row total, and they have the capability to play with anyone in the National Football League. The Lions can get got, especially last couple of weeks. I think the injuries are catching up to them. And the Chiefs, they look not infallible. They look fallible. They look very beatable. Frankly, they might be the most fraudulent 10-1 team since last year's Eagles team, which I don't know. But we'll see what happens. What happens is that everyone will doubt them heading into the playoffs, and then Mahomes will just do his freaking magic again in the playoffs, and it'll just be so stupid. Something that's not stupid is that the Vikings, they got to hold serve in the NFC North because the Lions keep getting given games, and same thing with the Packers. So the Vikings taking on the Cardinals at home, which ain't gonna be easy, man. Carla Murray and company. So I love this artwork from the team. Minnesota versus Arizona. So even though the game's in Minnesota, I love paying some homage to the opponent. Got the cactus out there. Love me as Arizona. Tucson's an underrated town, man. It's a great food city. Sort of a small community, about 500,000. So somewhere in there, right? University of Arizona, big basketball school. Football team was ascending, and then Jed Fish left. But also, it's funny. Like, I haven't seen any memes yet about US Bank Stadium being the bird killer stadium. It's funny how that went away after the damn stadium got built. Who knew, man? But we were trying to think of a way to tie this in. So we were immediately thinking about Tombstone Pizza. Like, Tombstone, Arizona. Well, bah, right? But, and also, Tombstone was the pizza that I grew up with as a kid because my dad was a grocery store manager, and sometimes they would just get extra pizzas from like the Tombstone distributor, which is kind of awesome. So we would just have frozen pizzas all the time at the house. And as a kid growing up, I mean, that's pretty damn elite, right? So we like to cook, homemade pizzas at home. Fridays are our family tradition. But if I'm going to do like a frozen pizza, even though I love me some Heggies, like Tombstone is just nostalgic, man. Just really good. Anyways, but then I found out that Tombstone has nothing to do with Tombstone, Arizona, or the desert at all. It was founded in Medford, Wisconsin, which is like the center of the stupid mitten. So I'm just out. My entire childhood was a lie, and I was being force-fed Tombstone Pizza, which I thought was from Arizona, from the jabroni state of Wisconsin. So maybe Heggies is better since it's a Minnesota company. But watch, I'm going to find out that that's from like Milwaukee too. It's ridiculous, man. Something's not ridiculous is Vikings left tackle Cam Robinson. So officially listed as questionable on the injury report, but should be good to go with that foot injury. Kevin Seifert, who is ESPN, who's not Carl Gerbschmidt. Cam Robinson was a full participant on Friday, and Kevin O'Connell said he is very encouraged by his progress. Now, Kevin O'Connell's been pretty positive about Robinson's availability all week, so it sounds like it's something that he can work through. Now, was it an injury that he could work back from in the Bears game? Don't know. But Quisenberry, I love as a veteran swing tackle, but he did give up 5 pressures and a sack filling in for Cam Robinson. And Cam Robinson, frankly, has gotten better every single week here with the Vikings outside of his emotional return to Jacksonville. But I'm hopeful that Cam Robinson will be good to go, because the offensive line is just different when he's in there. And the Vikings made the best of a bad situation with the Darrisaw injury. Also, speaking of the best of a good situation, well, actually best of a bad situation, because the Vikings are going to be drafting at the back of the first round, number 32 overall. But Ashton Jeanty is a monster, man. So love the contact balance. I love the patience, love the vision. I love everything about him. He's a dynamic player. He is a Le'Veon Bell redux with a better attitude. It's great, man. And there's just something about Boise State running backs wearing number 2. Yeah, just us and Alexander Madison back in the day. But Ashton Jeanty versus Oregon State on Friday, 37 carries, 226 yards and a touchdown. No big deal. No big deal. He should win the Heisman, even though Travis Hunter's last game against Oklahoma State with 100 yards and 3 touchdowns and a pick certainly padded things. But Jeanty's a stud, man, and he's going to be so damn good at the NFL level. And I just think that Kwesi's going to find a way to get Jeanty, whether it's a trade up, whether it's a manipulation of the board, whether I don't know what it is. But it's funny. This is going to be a really good draft for basically everything that the Vikings need. Defensive tackle, interior offensive line, cornerback, and running back. So even though the Vikings are sort of bereft of draft picks right now, I think the Vikings are sitting pretty damn good in this situation. Also, hey, since 2022, Kwesi's learned to draft. So it's kind of nice. Teams that haven't learned a damn thing. So the stupid Bears. Now, so they fired Eberflus on Friday after he addressed the media on his normal after-game morning presser, right? So immediately you're thinking, okay, this franchise is in disarray, but then they try to spin it through the insiders. Pelissero. One lingering question from today's bombshell in Chicago. Why did the Bears have Matt Eberflus speak to the media hours before firing him, rather? Actually, they should hire to fire him again. My understanding is George McCaskey, which Pelissero's understanding, I'm sure, was fed straight from Hallis Hall. Kevin Warren, former Vikings COO, and Ryan Poles, GM, had just begun a meeting that lasted multiple hours when Eberflus' regularly scheduled press conference started. A delay would have pointed towards a change that at that point hadn't been decided. By the time the decision was finalized, the presser was long over and Eberflus was informed. Now the Bears Brain Trust has a 5-week jumpstart on search to fill what should be a coveted job. How would it be coveted? Yeah, you got Caleb Williams. Yeah, you have some nice defensive pieces, but you have horrible ownership. You have a GM who's probably a lame duck and going to be fired, so a new GM's coming in, probably going to want his own guy, and it's just a spot where no coach has had sustained success since Mike frickin' Ditka. Love you, respect. Took him to a Super Bowl, but it is so hard to win with bad ownership, and the Bears have bad ownership. All right, and here's the thing, too. All right, so say that it's plausible. They were having a meeting in the morning. So the Lions and the Bears game wrapped up about 3 o'clock Central Time, right? It's not a long flight from Detroit to Chicago. You would think that McCaskey, Warren, and Poles would have had this discussion in the afternoon, in the evening, overnight, early in the morning, right? Because it's not that hard of a decision. Plus, it's something that I'm sure that they've thought about for some time during this embarrassing 6-game losing streak. But you're just telling me that, well, we couldn't delay coach speaking to the media because then it would maybe say that we're going to fire him, which you fired him anyway. So what's the point? No, it's just more inept leadership, and this is exactly what you're going to get. And the next coach will fail, and the next quarterback will fail, even though I believe in Caleb. I want him to do well, just not in Chicago. And the next coach will fail, and the next GM will fail, and over and over and over again. I legitimately feel bad for Bears fans. They deserve better. Not much better, but just a little better. Because just imagine being on this ridiculous treadmill of bashing your head into a wall over and over and over again and expecting a different result. No, it's just not going to work. And this was a perfect microcosm of it. Like, they couldn't have had a discussion in the afternoon, on the flight back, overnight. So stupid. So stupid. And them bungling the timing of the Eberflus firing, and Eberflus talking when the media is like, oh, I still think that I'm going to be coach. I'm getting ready for San Francisco. And then getting axed. It's the entire league is laughing at you, and for good reason. It's ridiculous. Speaking of which, so this is kind of funny. So they have a carousel of failure and ineptitude. So drafting Mitchell Trubisky-Ponder, which, by the way, they traded up from 3 to 2 with the Niners to take Mitchell Trubisky-Ponder over Patrick Mahomes, by the way, and also some former Texans quarterback that was kind of good for a little bit. And then they fired John Fox, right? Same year. And then they drafted Justin Fields, trading up with the Giants to go get Fields. And then they fired Ryan, fake-ass Brad Childress, Matt Nagy, right? I said Ryan Pace, but that was the old GM. And now they have Ryan Poles. And then they drafted Caleb Williams #1, and then they fired Eberflus, which It's ridiculous, man. Now, I think that Caleb could work out, and Caleb is the only attractive piece about this job, and maybe that will be enough to bring in offensive-minded guy like I don't think Ben Johnson's going to take the Bears job. Or you look at Liam Cohen, who's doing some great things. Or you look at Drew Petzing in Arizona, who we'll see on Sunday, former Vikings assistant. I think he's doing really good as well. So maybe, I don't know. Speaking of the NFC North, that isn't tragic. OptaStats. The NFC North is the first division in NFL history to have 3 teams with 9+ wins by the end of Thanksgiving Day. The Lions at 10-1, the Vikings at 9-2, soon to be 10-2, and then the Greasy Grimy Green Bay Packers at 9-3. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, "Well, that's great. We'll take pride in your division." Blah 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 blah. I do not care one iota how good everyone else in the division is. Like I honestly don't care, and the whole rationale about it is very stupid. And this is not a situation of you have this little. It's not like college football where you hope that SEC just means more, blah blah blah. And we do well in the bowl games together. Or it's like high school football. It's like, hey, a team from our division won the state title. Gee, Jolly Willikers, good job, boys. No, I want every single team in the division to go winless, except for the games that play each other. I want them to tie. Right? Hey, do you think Patriots fans during their 6th Super Bowl run were like, hey, the Dolphins are good this year, or Rex Ryan and the Jets are doing good things, or hey, gee, Jolly Willikers. I mean, the Bills are no, like no one. Like this is not a hey, we band of brothers. Like this means more because in the division. Don't care. Honestly, if the Vikings get knocked out of the playoffs and the Packers and Lions are still alive, like I will root for the other team with the fury unknown to mankind. Like, I will be the largest fan of the opposing team. I don't even care if it's the Eagles. I would rather see the Eagles go to another freaking Super Bowl despite their stupid fans than see the Lions or the Packers win a Super Bowl. That's it. I mean, it's like Michigan, Ohio State today, right? If and when Ohio State beats Michigan, hopefully not. You know who never lost to Ohio State? J.J. McCarthy. No big deal. Do you think that Michigan's really rooting for Ohio State in the playoffs? It's like, hey, Ohio State gets to the national title game. Yay, go Buckeyes. Just make sure that you do our conference proud. No. It's so stupid. It's like the national title game, Michigan versus Washington last year, where Michigan blew the doors off of Penix and the Huskies. Where do you think Ohio State was like, hail to the victors, go beat them dogs because due to the Big Ten? No. So dumb. Anyways, do what you want to do. That's the passive aggressive lines. Like it's so dumb, but you do you. I like honestly. Hey, if and when the Vikings win the Super Bowl this year, do you think the Lions, who the Vikings probably beat in the playoffs, are just like bring it home, skull? So dumb. Also dumb. Oh my God. I forgot to address this yesterday, but so Kyle Brandt, who's usually pretty good. So they did up a segment about, backyard football, talk about the Lions, talking about blah, blah, blah. And the line from it, Vikings fans, Packers fans, you can admit it, you kind of like the Lions. No. Now, this is a recent development because for many years, I didn't mind the Lions, right? Kind of felt bad for Lions fans, them showing up at the games, bags on their head, Ford Field half empty, tickets were cheap. Tickets are really expensive for the Lions now. That's what happens. And loving Barry Sanders and Megatron and respecting Matthew Stafford and all that stuff. Wayne Fonts from back in the day, sure. But just the chest thumping, the arrogance, the smugness, it's a little bit too much, right? And, hey, win something before you act like champions, right? That's all I'm saying. And also, hey, I just feel like they're going to get like they're definitely going to get theirs in the playoffs. And I'm not even talking about the Super Bowl. I'm really glad that they blew that huge lead against the Niners in the NFC title game. And, if you're out here, running up the score, even though in professional sports there isn't such a thing as running up the score because the other team's professionals and they're paid to stop them. But, I mean, you're trying to get touchdown receptions for your tackles. You're trying to get your tackle, Penei Sewell, to throw a touchdown. That's disrespect in the game. I mean, you can do all this Lulu stuff that you want and all the Sonic and Knuckles thing that you want and all the all grit stuff that you want. And, your safeties are out here blowing up knees. It's fine. Hey, it's fine if you win. But I don't think you're going to win. Perfectly fine. And by the way, Brandt is from Chicago. Brandt is a hardcore Bears fan, so I don't even know how he's buying into this. Like, did he do this at gunpoint? I don't know. Like, hey, Kyle, blink twice if you're being held hostage. It's ridiculous, man. Like, but maybe it's part of the national media Jerome haircut industrial complex, where it's almost like it's script. We have to make excuses for the Lions no matter what. Oh, the Lions struggled to beat the Bears at home by 3, but the Vikings beat the Bears on the road by 3. So Lions, contenders, Vikings, massive pieces of garbage. Same thing with the Chiefs, struggling at home, but is what is. But long story longer, no. Like, I will rock with the Packers fans on this. No, we are not rooting for the Lions. No, F the Lions, F your mom, F your face, F Packer fans too. That's it. F everyone except for people who wear purple. And also, I kind of like the Raiders too. We've been over this. Anyways, that's it. Very ranty on Saturday, but that's what we do. Vikings news dump. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.